Hi gents, this is Mr. Holding, and I'm just putting this video together to step you through the experimental task for Year 10 Chemistry. Okay, so you should have your task sheet available to you. It's on the portal or given to you by teacher or however access you got it to it, but you need to get a copy of it. And your task is to modify, which is to refine, extend or redirect an experiment previously done in class in order to address your own related hypothesis or research question. Alright, so depending on what you've done in class, you get to choose one. This is based around the Year 11 and 12 assessment, where you'll do a few, you have to choose it, you have to come up with your own research question and point of investigation, create your own or modify an experiment and go from there. So we're doing the same sort of thing. In this case, we're doing it on titration. Okay, so you need to think about, well, we did an experiment with, we used 1.1 molar of sodium hydroxide to find the molarity of a unknown, or hydrochloric acid of an unknown concentration. Okay, so have a think about that. All right, so that's your task. You hypothesize, investigate, and explain. It needs to be 700 to 800 words. In terms of time, a lesson for background research and selection of experiment. 3 lessons to modify and conduct experiment. 1 lesson to manipulate and analyze evidence and data. 1 lesson for formulating justified explanation, and then you've got to finish it off. Okay, so the usual stuff through here, your assessment policy. This is probably the thing that I would encourage you to spend the most time looking at. Okay, because this is where you're going to get your marks, and this is where you really need to understand the focus of this is going to be very different to what you've done before. Okay, so previously, as your teacher, I would have turned around and said, go and do this experiment, use this things, this is why we're doing it, write a report on it. So I'm looking at your ability to research and do all those kind of things, answer about it, do the experiment. In this case, a huge emphasis is on your ability to formulate your own idea, your own research question, okay, your own hypothesis, and then also particularly one of the big focuses is down here on evaluating. Okay, so critical evaluation of experimental process, reliable and validity of the experiment, suggested improvements. Okay, so you can see how that is, almost a third of what it is. So you really need to spend some time going through here. So questioning, predicting, planning, and conducting. A considered rationale for the experiment. Why are you choosing? Why are you choosing to do this particular experiment? Why are you choosing to modify the acid, change the acid? Why are you choosing to modify the base? Why are you deciding to look at standard error? Why are you looking at whether the indicator affects the results? Okay, so considered rationale for the experiment, justified modifications to the methodology. Okay, much like the rationale. All right, a specific and relevant research question. A considered methodology that enables the collection of sufficient relevant data. Considered management of risks. Okay, so you can see that's a third of your mark. Okay, then you're processing and analyzing data information. Thorough identification of relevant trends, patterns, and relationships. Okay, so you're reading and interpreting the data. Thorough and appropriate identification of uncertainty and limitations of the experiment. This bit here is where it's with a much larger emphasis is on limitations and uncertainty. Okay, so that's something you've really got to work on. It's going to be something that's new to you. Effective and efficient investigation of chemical reactions by the collection of sufficient relevant raw data. Then down here, our evaluating. Justified discussions of the reliability and validity of the experimental process. Not just the results, the process. Okay, suggested improvements and extensions to the experiment which are logically derived from the analysis of the evidence. So you might propose something, do the experiment, get results. Now from those results, you go, oh, well, we didn't quite answer it. This is the logical next question. That's what this section is. Okay, you need to be looking for that, thinking out beyond what you just did and going, well, what would be the next logical step in terms of research? Okay, what would be a question that needs to be answered? Okay, and of course communicating, effective communication, understanding, fluent and concise use of scientific language and representations, appropriate use of genre conventions, and acknowledgement of sources of information through appropriate use of referencing conventions. Okay, so on those two last points there, or 3 points I should say, I cannot overemphasize the importance of proofreading. Read your work over and over again. Okay, so you write your introductions, you read it and edit it. Okay, then you do your aim. Start from the beginning, read your intro and the aim. Then you go and do your hypothesis, read the intro, aim, hypothesis. And you keep rereading your work, and every time you read through it, you pick up small errors, you slightly improve the wording, you identify bits that don't flow and make sense. Okay, and each time you improve your work, get mum and dad to read it, get someone in boarding to read it, get a friend to read it. Okay, but you need to read your work over and over and over again. Okay, in terms of your sources of information, all right, Google is rubbish. You need to be using the college databases. There is a library help page. The more credible your sources, the more credible your work. Okay, much like the research task we did, your quality of information reflects the quality of your assignment. Okay, so put the effort in to get it done. All right, so that's that. This is called an ISMG, or a marking guide. Make sure that you know this and you keep constantly referring back to this. Okay, you don't have to worry anything about these top rows apart from these top rows, because this is where we're aiming. Okay, you fall short of this and you'll go into the section below. Okay, but we want to be aiming for these top ones here and these top ones here. All right, so that's your task sheet. Now available to you is this template. Okay, so it's been given to you. What I would hate to see is people be handing stuff back with this stuff still written on it. So I don't want the title to be title. You need to come up with your own title. Your name, your partner's name, the due date, and the teacher's name. So all these things should be deleted and you write your own things here. Same thing here. You've got a fair bit of detail here explaining what to do. You need to do your research question followed by your rationale. You've got examples there, your methodology, original, modification, and your new procedure. And again, examples there. Anything in red or blue needs to go. All right. So once you've done it, you need to make sure you edit it, proofread, and present your work well. Okay. So year what experimental report? It's year 10. Student's name. What's your name? Management of risks. Same sort of thing here. There's a big part of your marks comes down to management of risks. Your results, analysis of results, conclusions, and then finally your references. Okay, so they're cite fast, and there's some information that on the library website. I personally use the references button up here. Okay, and you do that by simply going insert cite, or first of all you need to choose. We do APA. Okay, and then insert citation. You need to choose whether it's a book, a journal, website, whatever. Okay, we're aiming for journals. Absolutely aiming for journals. All right, but if it's not, you choose what it is. Okay, so a journal, author. If you can't find the author, you click the button and put the corporate author. But author, the title of the article, the journal's name, the year, and the pages. Okay, so if I did that, and I'm going to go OK, and it put it straight in there. All right. That's pretty ordinary, so I'll insert this one. Okay, there's my reference there. Okay, my citations are here. Okay, got 2 of them there. And then finally, when I want to go down here and put a bibliography in, I just put bibliography and I click on that, and it'll put it in there in order, in correct format. Obviously that's not correct format because I just made it up there. All right, but the other good thing about this is this, I want to reuse this guy here. I'm just going to double click and it goes in there. Okay, so that's how I use mine. You don't have to. Obviously the library help page has cite fast and things like that. The only thing is that you need to make sure that you get your bibliography correct. It needs to be APA 6th edition, and all your formatting is done correct. The reason why I suggest you use this, because it does it all for you. Okay, all you have to do is click every new citation, put the information in the boxes provided, you choose whether it's a book, a journal, hit OK, it does it all for you, and at the end of it you do this. One little trick I've recently learned, obviously if you add more in after you put the bibliography in, you just go update citations and it adds any extra that you put in here. Okay. So that's the overview of your task sheet and your assignment. I hopefully you found it helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to come and see me.